Hello, I'm Kath. Today is the 29th of July, it's about 1 o'clock. I'm on my lunch break and today is the Day of Archaeology. In case you were not aware, the Day of Archaeology is all about telling the general public and explaining to people about the wonderful, wacky and slightly weird place that is the archaeology profession. We tell people what we do and we try and explain to people how diverse and wide-reaching archaeology as a profession is. I've already written my Day of Archaeology blog for today, so I'm not entirely sure why I'm doing this. But as I was writing it, I stopped myself going into a rant about what archaeology is. And so I thought I'd address that in a video to accompany the Day of Archaeology for 2016. So here is me, poorly, trying to explain what archaeology is to me. People respond when I tell them that I studied archaeology. I tend to get the same response, which is either pyramids, Stonehenge. Basically people think of it as excavations. Archaeology is excavating, archaeology is digging, which is why I'm currently sat outside the Pitt Rivers Museum in Oxford. People think of it as tangible things that you can find, things that you can dig up out of the ground. People think of it as sameneware, as clay pipes. People think archaeology is studying what humans leave behind and what that in itself can tell us about the past. So yes, as human beings we have left quite a lot behind. We have left Stonehenge and the pyramids and sameneware and pottery and stone tools, and we have left behind clay pipes. But we've also left behind so much more than that. We have left behind all these amazing buildings that surround me in this beautiful city that is Oxford. We have things like this. We leave behind things, festivals and protests today. We leave behind graffiti, and then someone will paint on top of that graffiti, and then someone will paint on top of that graffiti. All this tells a story. If I leave my rather nice pasta salad behind, which I won't, but if I did, then am I not leaving behind something that happened in the past? Am I not leaving behind a physical thing that I have touched, that I have had an effect on? I will have effect on this beautiful landscape around me. I have actually known people to roll their eyes at me if I tell them that I think like sweet rappers and protests from last month and Twitter, especially Twitter, is archaeology. I have got into numerous rants in pubs at conferences, trying very poorly to defend this type of archaeology. But the biggest beefy, huge resource that needs tapping into is the digital world, the internet. Good Lord, have you seen how much junk we have on the internet? Like floppy disks. What happened to floppy disks? Is anyone recording this crap? Is anyone actually, taking the details off floppy disks? What information are we losing because there is no floppy drives anymore? Mini discs. Does anybody remember mini discs? Was that like a phase in 2005? I had a mini disc player and I've lost my mini disc player, but I've got all my mini discs that probably have some music like Green Day and Blink-182 and the Vines on them. That I luckily I've got it on Spotify, so but all these things that we're in danger of losing because we're losing the resource to play them and to access that data. It's our jobs to curate that and to responsibly look after this data and start trying to understand all this data that we're leaving behind, because it's a brilliant resource. I don't know how anybody else gets the news nowadays, but I don't get the news from the news. I actually get the news from social media. I find out breaking news way before that breaking news is actually breaking on news sites and newspapers and on the TV. We are creating news as it happens. We are a resource that we're just not tapping into. And if I do something 5 minutes ago, then that in itself is archaeology. Archaeology is pretty much what we leave behind. Archaeology is everything that's going on around us. Archaeology is not studying the past. That's what historians do. Archaeology is studying what humans leave behind and what that in itself can tell us about the past. And just in case you're all panicking that I did actually leave my rubbish behind,